So Coleman Hughes, who is a wonderful and articulate defender of Israel, debated Dave Smith, who is a comedian that is very hostile to Israel and makes arguments that I think are very comic and very comedic in nature, in the sense that they are utterly illogical and deluded. But I want you to watch a great clip in this debate on Israel, because Coleman Hughes really corners Dave Smith's total lack of logic here. Have a watch.
Israel returned to 67 borders, and they allowed a government to be created in the West Bank, and that government attacked Israel. We're having a new conversation there, and that would be a conversation where Israel might be able to win over support around the world again, because they could go, look, we took our boot off the neck, and look, we got proven right, or something like that. So I wouldn't advise Israel to put their guns down. I wouldn't advise Israel to open their borders, but yeah, they could end this occupation. That's their choice.
Yeah, so I mean, I fear we're going in circles here, but that is what an Israeli would say they did in 2005. Like, we left Gaza, we left Lebanon, and where are the places we're getting attacked from most? Not the West Bank, not the place we're occupying, but the places we left, including the places like Lebanon, where they're not even Palestinian. Right? They're not even Palestinian. They're not even Sunni. They have their land. We don't want their land. And so if I were living there, I would say, okay, Dave Smith is telling me that if we withdraw from the West Bank, if we end the occupation, we'll have a much lower chance of terror than if we keep the occupation. But the evidence of my eyes and ears and everything around me is that we are getting attacked precisely from the places that we leave, and less so from the places that we're occupying. And if I put myself in those shoes, I say, well, why should I buy this guy's theory? This guy, he may thinks he understands the psychology of the enemy we're facing, but all of the evidence points in the opposite direction. And why, with all the marbles, with my family security on the line, would I gamble on getting a little bit more sympathy from the world that seems pretty unsympathetic, frankly? Like more UN resolutions against Israel than every country. Like, that seems a little bit of a signal of where world opinion is coming from. Why would I gamble my family's life on whether some Westerners like me a little more, when the consequence of a war with an independent West Bank could be catastrophic?
If Israel returned to 67
yes, that is absolutely right, Coleman, and you put it very succinctly and very logically. But I have to hold myself back here, because honestly, the words that I wanted to say to Dave Smith, I'm reminded of a lesson that I had from Rabbi Manis Friedman, where he quoted this, what it says in Proverbs, the passage about a woman of valor. And it said that V'Torah's chesed al lashonah, she has a Torah of kindness on her lips. When she speaks the truth, she speaks it with kindness. In other words, he was saying, don't try and beat up people with the truth. Tell it with a kind tone. But honestly, there comes a point where, yes, I accept for people who are just struggling to grapple with it, that you explain it to them calmly and without aggression. But in the case of Dave Smith, the ghoul, the idiocy to suggest that if Israel withdrew to the 67 lines and allowed for a Palestinian state, then that will be a great solution. You are precisely as you describe yourself, Dave. You are a clown, a comedian. Because what you say is the absurd. It is the ridiculous. It is stupidity on steroids. Why do you think they're called the 67 lines? Because it's from those lines that the Arabs attacked Israel and tried to destroy it. If you cannot see by now, after Israel withdrawing from Gaza and giving them a Palestinian state on a mini level and getting October 7th, if you cannot see from now, from the whole case of history over the last 100 years, that the Palestinian leadership, that the very Palestinian identity, and even the majority of Palestinians are solely interested in destroying Israel and are not interested in this kind of legitimate grievance of just wanting self-determination and statehood. If you cannot see that by now, I don't think it matters how I'm going to say it to you. There are some people who are just so stuck in their ways that I don't want to say that it's going to be impossible to change their minds, but it will take something so earth-shattering that I shudder to think what that would be. You know, the rabbis of the Talmud said, let the Mashiach come, let the Messiah come, but let me not see it. Many people wonder, what does that mean? Some people think, because there's going to be a lot of suffering before the Messiah comes, the birth pangs of Moshiach, as it's referred to. Rabbi Manis Friedman explained it to me that actually what the sages of the Talmud were saying is not that they didn't want to see all the violence. You know, they'd seen violence. They're used to that, sadly, in the course of Jewish history. It's actually a much more sensitive point. Seeing people's ideologies that they've devoted their whole lives to crumbling before their eyes, that everything that's given themselves a sense of purpose that they've been fighting for, crumbling, seeing all the false gods that they've been worshipping crumble before their eyes, realizing how wrong they were. Watching that is painful. Let me not see that. Because of the sensitivity of our sages, they realize that there's going to be the ultimate showdown before Mashiach. It may be other things, but it fundamentally is an ideological war. What is the truth? The Messianic era is a time in which the whole world acknowledges the truth, and that means that there's going to have to be a showdown of what's true and what is false. And for people like Dave Smith, who make comments like that, shows how deeply set he is in his ways. And goodness me, is he in for a humble reckoning when he's going to have to confront the truth. And in addition to the truth, the falsehoods that he has been spouting for so long and the deep, deep damage that he has caused as a result. But for those of you who do want to know the truth, you have the chance to learn it, if you're genuinely open to it, on this channel and also in our JTV documentaries, one of which I think is so important to everything we're saying, which is about the invention of the Palestinians. Have a watch, and if you want to watch it, just click on the link in the video description. The Palestinians. We have been told they are an ancient people fighting for their homeland which has been stolen from them. This narrative has fueled decades of conflict, painting Israel as an occupier of stolen land. But what if this identity is not of an ancient nation, but a modern, cynical invention? A political construct designed not to build a state, but to dismantle the Jewish one. In this JTV Plus documentary, we're going to uncover the truth behind the creation of the Palestinian identity, how it was forged in the fires of pan-Arabism, absent in historical records until strategically rebranded in the 1960s by leaders like Egyptian-born Yasser Arafat to rally global opposition against Israel. We'll trace its roots from the Ottoman era, where Palestine was a region without a distinct people, through the pre-1948 years of Arab rejectionism, before focusing on the pivotal shift of the 1960s, when Arafat declared we should now be known as Palestinians, inventing symbols like the flag to mask genocidal aims. This wasn't about self-determination, it was about exploiting refugees, suppressing true aspirations under Arab rule, and perpetuating a war to destroy Israel. Join us as we debunk the myths of an ancient Palestinian nation, expose the strategic manipulation, and reveal how this construct has hindered peace while fueling hate. Fair but firm, This is the story of an identity weaponized, not for building a future, but for erasing one. To watch this JTV Plus documentary and access much more premium content, click on the link in the video description.